Thank you. So many questions, so little time. I want to associate myself with the remarks of the chairman about the weapon systems. You are in a special position because you have been in the weeds, so to speak, on all of this in your previous position, and we worked together on wartime contracting reforms, which now are in the statutes, and I know that you will be aggressive about making sure that all of those provisions are adhered to. I also want to address a question to you for the record on the murky line of responsibility on the building of infrastructure during contingencies in theater while we're fighting. I think what we've learned in Iraq and Afghanistan through the Special Inspector General's reports is that this line of passing back and forth responsibility for building roads, building highways, building grids, building health centers, building water systems, building power plants between AID and defense has made it very difficult for us to really hold everyone accountable that needs to be accountable for dramatic failures. And on that note, I wanted to specifically talk about Special Inspector General's reports. Last week I learned that for the first time in 6 years, the Special Inspector General's reports as to the way we are accomplishing our mission in Afghanistan for training and equipping the Afghan National Security Forces and Afghan police was going to be classified by General Campbell. This had never been done before. Those reports are essential to robust oversight. I kicked up dust last week about it, and on Monday it was announced that General Campbell was evidently reversing his decision in some regard. I want to ask your commitment to make sure that throughout the chain of command there is an understanding that the decision to classify is a very, very precarious decision, because if you don't do it when it needs to be done, it's a problem. But if you overclassify, it removes the ability of us and the taxpayers to hold the military accountable. And I wanted to bring that up to you and ask you for your commitment in that regard.
I give that commitment.
I also wanted to briefly talk about sexual assault in the military. The report that came out in December, while it still shows work to be done, I think it's important that on the record we talk about the success that we have had. Reporting is up. We've gone from 1 in 10 victims coming forward to 1 in 4 in a matter of a few years. Incidence is down. Importantly, restricted reporting is up. And maybe in the most important information in that report that hasn't gotten a lot of cover is that in anonymous surveys and focus groups with victims, more than 2/3 of the victims said they had complete confidence in their commanders and how they are handling these crimes, and that they feel that their privacy is being respected and that they are being supported. That is huge, and I wanted to point that out because I do think we're making progress. But on retaliation, that same report, as Senator Gillibrand pointed out, we still have a 62% rate of retaliation. If you look at the report, you realize it's not retaliation by the convening authority, by the command that is making the decision as to whether or not to go to general court-martial. Rather, it is peer and low-level command that is causing the problem. In our reforms, we made retaliation a crime. We expect to get a report on how many instances that crime has in fact been pursued within the military justice system. The reforms obviously just went into place a relatively short time ago. What do you plan on doing in connection with this retaliation problem and with this new crime within the military justice system to pursue it?
Thank you, and thank you for everything you've done. I have, from the outside looking in, observed and admired the ideas and the energy and the commitment you've shown to this, getting rid of this scourge of sexual assault. And so, first of all, thank you for that. With respect to retaliation, that's one of the dimensions that I think the report you cite uncovered as very prevalent. I think that 62% of victims were reporting experiencing retaliation, and as you say, not so much, although not to the exclusion of, but not so much from the chain of command as from peers and subordinates. And you're right, this is a crime. And its prevalence suggests that we're not doing everything that we need to do to root out that crime. So if I'm confirmed, you can count that I am attentive to this issue of retaliation and determined to do something about it. I'll look forward to working with you if I am confirmed.
Thank you very much, Dr. Carter. I look forward to working with you.
Senator.